Hi, Kim. How are you?
Oh, I'm great, Janelle. How are you?
I'm great. I absolutely always love talking to you. So
Oh,
I'm very, very
same.
grateful you're taking some time to share some of your insight with us today. So thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks for asking me.
So I first met you. You were the chair of the executive board of the chamber,
Yes.
and you were always so warm and kind and friendly. So you really kind of, without meaning to, you just kind of dragged me into a really great community of
Come
people who just lured
on.
me in. But before I start talking about that, what I really want to talk about is you are a certified financial advisor with
Yes,
Edward Jones, and
correct.
you were instrumental in the my process of buying my first house
Oh,
because you listened to everything I had to say. You customized my portfolio, which worked best for me as a single working mom buying my
right,
first piece of
right.
property. And I just want to reflect on your website. You say that you just like to treat others the way that you like to be treated.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
I witnessed that firsthand, but I'd like to hear like what drives that? What
Oh,
makes you have these relationships with people the way that you do?
oh my gosh, I think it's honestly, Janelle, it's in my soul. Like, I just want to meet great people like yourselves. And you did the hard work. Like, you were so diligent in, okay, I have got a goal. We want a home. We want to stop renting. And it's just being able to be there and be witness with you. Like, you did this, cheering you on along the way. It's like, it's so fun watching people kind of achieve what their potential is. And you are just a classic example of that. So, I don't do the work. I just sit there cheering, like, you got this. Okay, why don't we try this? Why don't we try that? And it's just treating people the way you want to be treated. It's especially, yeah, I'll use you as an example. A single mom, like, you need somebody on your team. You have the rest of the world telling you you've got 10,000 things to do today. I'm just that voice in your ear to say, okay, remember what's important. Remember that goal you said you wanted to achieve, and let's get there. And money is a funny thing. Like, it makes people clam up, makes some people nervous. It makes some people want to stick their head in the sand and just avoid it. But if we can just come to a place where we can talk about it a little bit and uncover, what are you capable of? What do you want to do? And okay, let's start small and meet people where they're at. I mean, a financial advisor did that for me one day years ago, and I'm so grateful for it. It put us on a path to doing what we wanted to do. So now it's my turn to pay it back.
Mm, yeah, yeah. Starting small, that's a really big thing that you just
Yeah.
said there, because somebody like me, I'm the person who puts my head in the sand every time talking about money. The funny thing is, I excelled at math in school, right?
Yes.
But then there's like it's almost like a taboo to talk about
Yeah.
money.
Yeah.
However, we all,
Especially as New Englanders. I
yes.
think it's in our DNA to not talk about it, to not sit down at the dining room table and talk about what mom and dad earn. What is a credit card? How do I balance a checkbook? I mean, those things aren't taught in school, and they're not really talked about at home either. So just removing the embarrassment from it, like, it's okay. And I often share stories like, yep, there was a point in our lives when we were in debt more than we should have been, and we had to straighten ourselves out. And just sharing those stories that I've walked this path too, and it's okay. Let's just get this straightened out so we can celebrate.
Yeah, yeah, there's always the opportunity to turn the corner and go in the right trajectory, right?
No doubt, no matter where you are on that path. And I'll tell you, there's people that have done a phenomenal job saving that still feel like they don't have enough and still feel like they're embarrassed. And there's people that can't, don't have two nickels to rub together and they feel that same way. So it's very much an internal. I feel a
Mm.
little bit like you have to be a counselor as well as an advisor here, just uncovering, where's that feeling come from? Talk to me about money at home when you were a kid. Like, was money used as a reward? Was money just something you talked about or didn't talk about? It's pretty fun.
Yeah, I find as time goes by, the more I understand finances, which really did start with you.
Yeah.
So I'm 44, so that started right around I was 40, right? When I
Yeah.
really started to address money. And the more stable and secure and confident I become, since you kind of set me on the right path,
Yeah.
the more confident and independent I feel in life. It gives me
Absolutely.
freedom,
Yeah.
right? So you're right. It is kind of a psychology. Although money isn't the end all be all, it is a tool that we need,
Yeah.
right? And just setting people, guiding them on the right path, um, it does. It allows them to have like less stress, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
If the bank account fills up, they have
Yeah.
security for retirement and,
Yeah.
rainy day funds. And then also they just kind of get to sleep better at night.
Yeah.
Me?
Absolutely. And you hit on those key elements like that emergency fund. If that you need that to be able to sleep at night and finding what motivates people or what gives them anxiety. For some people, it's charity. Like, is it going to light your world to be able to give to your church, to be able to give to the homeless shelter? If that's what does it for you, then absolutely that is a top priority for us. So
Yeah.
just finding out what people want to do, because you're right. I'm not comfortable with, I just came back from a week in Italy, walking through all of that opulence and gold and glitter. I'm like, that's not to me a good use of money. So it's just talking about what's a good use of money for you. And it's a lot of fun.
Everybody's different.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
speaking, that's actually a great segue because everybody's different.
Yes.
So going back to you luring me into the Chamber of Commerce, I have social anxiety, and I've said that from the beginning. And you were like, you will be
You
great at
got
the
this.
ambassador committee. All right. And you were really instrumental at like getting me to like meet other people, like one by
Yeah.
one, and then growing again that confidence. So, but for the years that I've been part of it now, I mean, I feel like you've been at 95% of
Yeah.
all events that I've, attended.
Yeah.
And it seems as if, from a like a spectator's perspective, you're always trying to engage others in a positive light.
Yeah.
And you're always part of all of the different groups that we have, the Young Professionals Network,
Mhm.
most recently Wild, which I love.
So
Um,
love that group.
it's a great group.
Yeah.
And so one of the things that, being different. So one of the things I want to talk about is that Wild group specifically, because you're really good at, women in leadership development, right?
Yeah.
But you highlight just all humans, all business owners, not just women, but you're also supporting women in growth. But you're also saying like, hey, the boys are good too, right? So
No doubt. No
yeah,
doubt.
tell me
I
more
mean,
about that.
so looking at, I mean, one, the industry I'm in, 20 years ago, there were very, very few female financial advisors. So fast forward today, working for Edward Jones in our area in this southern New Hampshire, women make up 25% of financial advisors. So that's like, wow, that is amazing. But I also look at, okay, it was a male financial advisor that invited me into this business. And I'm so thankful for all the mentorship every man around me has given me. They gave me a seat at the table. And that is to me what I want to do to everyone around that's slightly different than me. Just how can I, there's an empty chair here. Who can sit here? What voice would I benefit from? And if it is somebody that grew up in a different neighborhood, somebody of a different age, somebody of a different ethnicity, that is going to make the conversation richer by inviting them to sit at that table. So the chamber is a perfect example. We have committees, we have a board of directors. Okay, to represent all the businesses in our area, they don't all look like me. So who else can I invite into one of these committees that's going to help us tap into new businesses and businesses that we're not at today? Because we're all richer and stronger by being together.
Hmm. And do you find, because I agree with you 100%, I love the diversity of, even since when I started, there's a
Yeah,
lot more diversity.
agreed.
But do you find any challenges with that? And if so, like, how do you address those challenges?
Yeah, the challenges can be that it's easy to invite your best friend.
Hmm.
It's easy for me to look at my group of friends and say, you're a business owner, you really would love the chamber. And I do that. It takes a little bit more work to say, okay, who isn't one of my best friends, but also would thrive here or would make us better. So that's to me the challenge is it actually takes some diligence to weave diversity into it. We have had zero pushback in terms of when I brought up to the board saying, okay, we need to think a little differently. We kind of all look alike sitting at this table. Who else can we invite? How do we get somebody young? We've got a couple of really wonderful young professionals now on our board of directors, and amazing. Just the feedback they give a different lens. They're the future. So we can't all sit here just inviting who's close to us. It's how do you invite, who's outside. So, and Wild is a perfect example. There was a couple of women that came to us at the board and said, we want a women's group. Okay, so we sat down with 5 or 6 of us and said, what does it look like? Are we just support? Are we educating? Are we leadership development? And kind of came up with a charter. And we've had 3 or 4 meetings and they've been wildly successful. Pardon the
Ah,
pun.
ha, ha, you're so clever.
But it's just so fun to be able to invite people. And now when I go meet somebody new, if I meet a young female, I'm like, you know what? We have got this great group at the chamber. You're coming with me the next time. Because I think inside there's all this scared little schoolgirl that doesn't know what networking. You say, Janelle, I want you to network, and you're gonna be like, peace out. I got things to do. I got a business to run. But when I say to you, Janelle, let's go grab coffee, and there's gonna be a group of women there. I'd love to introduce you to some of my friends. That's totally different.
Yes, it is.
It's
Yeah,
really
it
tapping
doesn't
into
seem
that.
as daunting,
No way.
paralyzing, right?
No,
One
no.
of the women, and I don't remember who it was, this just kind of drives one of your points home about like really listening to people who aren't our best friends.
Yeah.
She had talked about uh, one of her mentors that was like kind of uh, what's the word I'm looking for? Like assigned to her. She didn't like
Yep.
what
Yep.
he had
Yep.
said, right?
Yep.
She didn't like, he has nothing to do with my business. He's not a
Yep.
woman. He's
Yep.
not, in my field.
Yep.
He's much older. And so she resisted,
Yep.
right? And then with some time and some patience and being quiet and just
Yeah.
listening, using her ears, oh my gosh, all of a sudden she realized that was exactly what she needed. And not because everything was the opposite, but instead because the view was the other side of the
Yes.
spectrum, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So,
And
and
that's so important, and it's so important the language we use just to make sure that language is inviting and not limiting.
yeah,
It's, even I cringe a little bit with doing a women's group, like, okay, but how do we make sure we're also letting anybody else in who feels comfortable and wants to be there? So it's
yes.
really important.
Chelsea
But you're
Brown is
right.
always really
Oh my
great for
gosh.
me, because she calls it a spade
Yes.
immediately. Like
Yes.
women are great, but so are men, and
Yes.
she's always in a male-dominated industry,
Yep.
and she's the first one to say, "Thank goodness men exist
Yes.
too." It's not to divide; it's
Yeah.
to just to lift up, and
Yeah.
then make people coexist equally.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, I love Chelsea Brown for that
She
reason.
is absolutely amazing. And I'm so glad she's part of the chamber. She's made a big, and she's a master networker. I mean, I look to her and be like, okay, how can I do what she's doing?
Yes, right. I know. I think that's just like an innate gift she has,
Yes.
perhaps,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It's,
Totally, totally agree. And the thing she's good at is she's a master connector.
yeah.
She's not there just to meet people. She's there to meet Janelle, to know, you know what, you need to meet my friend Kim, and let me introduce the two of you because I think you'd be good together. And that's a gift.
Yes, it is a gift. And so what is something, so, the year is half over, the season is, the summer is coming to a close. I feel like a lot of people have a hard time connecting in the summer because life,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
So, as, the fall comes, what is it that you'd like to see with the small businesses and the chamber and community events? Like, do you have
Yeah.
a goal by the end of the year that you would like to accomplish as somebody who's so vested in
Oh,
the
that's
chamber?
awesome. Honestly, making September comes, it's back to business. I just feel like a lot of people, like you said, put that pause over the summer so that we can spend time with our families,
Yeah.
which is so important. September comes and more new faces show up. So it's my goal for the back half of the year is just making sure we're really diligent with new members. Who's come into the door? Who have we invited? Are we following up? And am I extending that invitation? Hey, We've got a member appreciation barbecue coming up. I will be there. I will be at the front desk and I'll be looking for you. I hope you're able to join because I just want to make people feel comfortable to come to that first event. It's unfortunate when people drop back from the chamber. And, I always look at, okay, did I ever get a chance to meet them? Did I see them at events? To get everything out of the chamber, you've got to be present and be there. Because there's some amazing people. I would say some of my best friends now and best business colleagues have come from connections at the chamber. It's just, who do I know? And selfishly, part of my business to build my business is I have to meet people. Well, that's a perfect place to meet people. And it's not necessarily that I'm going to meet a new client, but the next time they're talking to their mom or dad or talking to their best friend that are having financial struggles, it's, you know what? I've got this great person that I trust and would absolutely put you in their hands. So it's just a
Yeah.
great way that they know me, they like me, they trust me because I've just been there to help.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, when you say that, you mean it, and I know that, for by personal experience. But you said something that's really important. It's, people fall back and you have to be a
Yeah.
part of the chamber for it to work. And
Yeah.
that's a universal message. I've heard everybody say that. And, I own a commercial cleaning company, and
Yeah.
during COVID, we were
Yes.
growing during COVID, and
Oh my gosh.
I stopped participating because I
Yeah.
just felt so strapped. But
Yeah.
if there was ever a time to need the chamber, it
Yeah.
was then. And I
Yeah.
mean, hindsight is 2020, of course.
Yeah.
But
Well,
so
you were
for
in it. You were fighting the front lines, my friend.
yes, I was. I
You
cried
and
a lot.
nurses, that were about it.
Right. But that's important though. Like that's the time to lean on your community. So I
Yeah.
just wanted to, highlight what you just said there, that,
Yeah.
falling back, it can't help you if you
Yeah.
don't, inject
And
yourself.
I feel like the chamber's done a really good job in the last few years at making events accessible to different people. There's lunchtime events, there's morning coffee events, there's business after hours events, there's big social events and gatherings, there's trips. They just got back from a trip. I think the next trip is scheduled for Scotland. So
Right.
just wherever you feel comfortable, there's something for you. So just check out the new website and the calendar and don't hesitate. Liz and Martha are lovely at the office. If you
Yes.
say, I'm a little nervous, help me, where do I start? They will hold your hand the whole way.
Oh my gosh, I just walk in unannounced all the time, sit down, make myself coffee and chit chat. I don't know if they would like me saying that I do that because they have work to do, but I'm very grateful. So I always love to ask everybody one last question. Kim, where can we find you?
Absolutely. So the best place well, first of all, at any chamber event, I'm
Yes,
probably
that's
there. I
right.
try hard to wear my name tag if I haven't forgotten it in my car. But besides that, the Edward Jones website has a great little tool, find a local advisor. My office is in Amherst, New Hampshire. I'm so blessed. I am on the Village Green. I look out my window and I see basically a Norman Rockwell painting. So you just type in Kim Hemmer on the Edward Jones site and you will find all things about me. I'm also very active on Facebook, both that business page, but my personal page. You will get an essence of who Kim is if you hit me on Facebook, and I welcome you to friend me. I can't wait to meet you.
Yes, and I mean, I promise that you are a great friend to have. So thank you
Aw,
so much, Kim. I really appreciate you taking
I
the time to
love
talk with me
this.
today.
Awesome. Thanks, Janelle. Have a great day.
You too. Take
Take
care.
care.
Bye.